I didn't want nobody to know that I drank again. I slipped up. And I still went back to that meeting, but never told anybody. Mm-hmm. I could not have, I just didn't know how to confide into somebody to let them know, hey, I effed up. I'm going to try again, but I didn't try again.
What is up, you guys? Welcome back to the #1 mental health and addiction podcast, The Hopeaholics. I am your girl, Natalie Eva Marie, and these are my boys.
I'm Chad.
Hi, I'm Shane.
Make sure you guys like, subscribe, and follow us on our socials and wherever you get your podcasts.
Got a new episode dropping every Monday and Thursday. Please come check it out.
This episode is brought to you by the Infinity Group. You guys, if you or a loved one is suffering, please call us today. The number is right here on the screen. We are here for you 24/7. Now, let's get into the episode.
Chuck
Zamzow.
Wow.
Hey, buddy. How you
Welcome
doing, man?
to the Hopeaholics
welcome.
Podcast. Officially. All the way from Illinois.
Illinois, little town called LaSalle Peru. Illinois, right in the middle.
What's the population of?
Combined two towns, I'd say 20,000.
Combined two towns. We got 30 in San Juan Capistrano by itself.
Really?
Yeah. What do you got in Costa Mesa?
I don't know. It's a great question.
It's got to be like 100K.
Oh, at least. Plus Newport's right there. Irvine's right there. I mean, it's like,
I think there's 100K just on Newport.
Yeah,
Newport.
I think you're right.
They pack them in at Newport Beach, man. You looking it up?
I am.
Because I actually do want to know. Chat GPT.
Oh, yeah. How many people in Newport Beach?
I'm going with 101. 159.
No, 82,000.
82,000.
Oh, it's over 100,000 during summer months.
That's still quite a bit, though.
Yeah.
That's about the size of...
How many people in Costa Mesa?
Oh, did you do Newport Beach first?
Yeah. 108 in Costa Mesa.
What did I say? 101. Damn it. I was only off by 7,000.
Approximately 112 today. Wow, I started using ChatGPT for the peptides.
Yeah.
Because I was trying to convert the liquids.
Yeah.
And I love it.
Yeah.
Because I'm going from micrograms to the points on the syringe for diabetic. And as long as you say diabetic syringe, they understand how to convert. It's really quite amazing.
I'm not sure you have to do all of that.
I know. I go above and beyond.
You can just say units.
Yeah.
What was that word? Bior?
I go above and beyond. That's what
he meant beyond.
Beyond. I go above and beyond.
We got Chuck Zamzow
Chuck
in the house. From
Sorry, bro. We got lost here for a minute, just me and you. Yeah, we do.
It's all right.
Chuck has been with us for how long? Like 19 months, 20 months?
He's got a better...
Maybe not that long.
I know I started on episode 17 or 18 on the...
And we're into 200. We're into 215.
No, I think you're close to 90 now.
The Recover Out. This is the Tuesday night meeting.
Oh, shit, right.
Just for the Tuesday night meeting.
Yeah.
Now the episodes...
220 was released yesterday.
It was 220 yesterday. The Flex Wheeler with the gentleman that he was with was one of the first ones I watched.
Tim Story. Shane's confidant. Shane's mentor.
Yeah, one of them.
Yeah.
One of the many.
One of your many mentors.
Yeah.
Assignment for the alignment, or I think that's what he says.
Yeah, he does.
He says,
pretty good
be
story.
in alignment with your assignment.
Yeah.
From God.
Mm-hmm.
He's a very Christian man.
He is very Christian. Yeah. So he says. Who really knows ever? You say it, we believe it. No one knows.
Yeah.
He could go home and commit blasphemy all fucking night long for as long. We don't know.
I mean, I consider myself a Christian, but I sin every day, all day.
This is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So
there's no saints in these rooms.
But I'm not trying to,
promote
hide behind
perfection or things like that.
No. I'm not sure. Like, I don't want people to follow my way. I just want them to, live a better life.
Yes.
Whatever that better life is for them. Well, Chuck.
Yeah, Chuck, if you could go back in your life.
I was waiting for this question.
To the worst possible day, the one day that actually brought you to your knees. You broke, what is that day for you, bro?
I thought about that last night because I know you've been doing that lately. I'm going to try not to get emotional today. That's the one thing I'm going to try not to do. I would say coming to in an accident. My actual accident. That is what brought me back in the rooms. I came to in the car during the middle of an accident and came to again calling my ex-wife, actually. I didn't know it was her, but I know she told me. I called her and went back into a blackout. Came to when they were extraditing me out of the car. Blacked out again in the ambulance, and then came to in the hospital. That for me was the time where.
You still married at the time when that happened?
No, that was my ex-wife.
That was your ex-wife?
Yes, my first marriage.
Yeah.
Planning on getting married again, so it's been a while that we've been together with my now fiance. She's been with me.
What
15
led
years.
What led to your first divorce? Was it drug related, alcohol related?
No, actually, I didn't touch alcohol until I never got into drugs. Actually, I was around a lot of the drugs, around a lot of the marijuana. Marijuana I did try once, but I never.
Yeah, good for you, man.
I smoked it. It was during a Halloween, and I was with my ex-wife and her cousins, and it was Halloween night. And I'm like, you know what? I've been around everybody during high school. Whatever they did, what's this thing about? What is so good about this that's so good? And at the time, marijuana was illegal to have anyways, unless you knew it from a dealer or whatnot. And all those things have changed now. But got high, ate a bowl of candy, and laughed, and that was it. And I'm like, this doesn't do anything for me.
Didn't do it for you?
It didn't do it for me.
But alcohol did it.
Oh, that was the greatest escape.
Well, so what's your drink of choice? Because so everybody's got a drink of choice.
Malt liquor.
Malt liquor.
Old English 40s, Mickey 40s. I didn't like St. Ives. I didn't like the other ones. In a pinch, King Cobra.
That's some bathtub.
local.
That's like bathtub booze.
Not
isn't
Mickey's.
It?
I mean,
Mickey's.
no.
Little Mickey's a bottle. I thought a Mickey was a little bottle.
They did come in little bottles. They used to.
Oh,
call
Mickey's
them
is the
certain
name of a product.
yeah,
Oh,
the green bottle?
No,
Mickey's?
no,
They also came in a 40-ounce
no,
bottle?
no. I never drank that. I never drank that.
See,
kind
I
of
had the Mickey's Big Mouths. I love the Mickey Big Mouth.
Yep.
I mean, this was like, my era in the late 80s, early 90s. Old E was.
Yeah.
It was just cool.
I loved
It
Old
was
E.
in
It was
all the
just, it was
videos.
just cool to get fucking Old E and keep it in the bag and
That's
drink
how I used to get it. That's how
I feel
used to
like
get it.
that it's influence on like the videos. Like,
NWA.
yeah, exactly. Yep, totally.
Well, wait a second. That's when they had the 40.
Easy-E.
They had the
Easy-E.
40.
Yeah.
With beer, though, I thought.
Yeah, malt
Yeah.
liquor.
Oh, that's the
higher
beer.
alcohol, a little
It's-
higher alcohol count.
Oh, damn. I just thought it was a bottle of beer. Like a,
It is. I mean, it's beer, but it's like it's
It'll fuck
strong
you up.
beer.
like stout. Like
Yeah.
we have stout in Canada. It's like extra thick, and instead of 7 or 8%, it's like 11 or 12.
It's not thick, but I would say closer to the 10, 11%.
Okay, yeah.
I've had stouts before, but not responsibly. I'll put it that way.
Yeah. I drank stout to gain weight.
How old were you when you got married?
21.
Wow.
And then how old when you separated?
22. Just kidding.
Honestly, right around 22.
Oh wow.
Just almost turned 23. And it didn't last that long. I caught my ex-wife cheating on me. So
Ooh.
that was not the.
That's fucking painful.
I know.
Wow.
I know your story, Chuck.
Damn.
That wasn't a good night.
No.
Yeah.
It was basically. There's a lot of things that led up to that too. I had a lot of mental things going on with myself, even though I wasn't drinking or I wasn't.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know how to, because growing up, you guys know pretty much my story growing up. I'm from the East Coast originally. So my dad was always working. He was always gone. And even though he had a business in the 80s, because I'm an 80s kid too. And he had a construction business. And I remember going to the construction business with him and helping him when I was a kid. So I got to pick up a lot of the knowings from that. But seeing the people that worked with him is what really kind of opened my eyes a little bit, because they were nice guys, but I knew something was off with them. I knew because they were biker guys. I know that. They were pretty hyped up, and Gumby was one of the guys I met, and he was a cool dude, long beard, but I knew he was an alcoholic or something of that nature now that I see, looking at it hindsight-wise, because he had no teeth in the front, because he always got in fights. So I knew something wasn't good. But those guys showed up to work every day, and they did their job, but My dad, I think, him being gone a lot, my mom was pretty much she was the mother hen basically there, but she also worked a lot. So I don't know if she had a lot of things going on in her head too, where him being gone a lot, making money, her going doing stuff, and then basically, they say Gen X kids grew up on their own. Mm-hmm. We kind of did. I mean, now that we look back on it, me and my sister, when we talk, because I have a twin sister and an older sister and an older brother.
Oh, wow.
So I do know him and my brother did not get along. I seen fights. I seen a lot of things I probably shouldn't have seen as a kid, but it was also a learning experience too. I knew that my dad was alcoholically probably not drinking, but he had the traits. Looking back on it, I don't know much about his story because the episode I saw with the father-son here, that really resonated with me because me and him were in recovery. But I don't know. I don't go to his shares, and he doesn't go to mine. And it's nothing that we don't. It's a respect thing.
Yeah.
Because everybody asks, like, "Hey, did you go see so and so speak?" I'm like, "No, that's my dad. That's his story." Me and him, we have a better relationship now. But growing up as a kid, I kept to myself a lot. So I was kind of an introverted kid. But I had a handful of set of friends in the neighborhood because that's how we grew up. We all had BMX bikes and rode around and, always out and about, always doing stuff. I didn't cause a lot of trouble, but, until before I moved to Illinois. But they were really good friends, man. One's passed away from overdose of heroin. When I went to go visit him in 2008, he was dead. Mm-hmm. I found out, and I was like, it hit because it's like he was a good friend of mine, my buddy Joey. But my dad being gone a lot did a lot of stuff to me, and I seen it how my brother explained it because he did the same with my brother. He didn't pay attention to his sports and go to things. Money was a driver for him. He always wanted to go work and make money. I heard it on here a lot about people making money. To me, money is a tool. It's not. It's a root of all evil, but it's something that's not solely important in my life. It's enough for me to live on a daily basis, we'll put it that way. But seeing that type of trait in him, he's still working a lot right now at 76 years old. I've told him to retire. Oh, I can't retire. Can't retire. I don't want to retire. And I'm like, you teach, you have PhDs, you got all this stuff, you're smart up here. Go do something 6 months out of the year and go write books and go do what you want to go do. No. So I'm like, all right. That's where our respect level is on our recoveries, because I'm not going to tell him what to do as far as like, hey, you got to go do this. Well, I'm like, I just suggested to him. So even when I moved out to Illinois from New Hampshire, things changed with me as well too, because I was always made fun of. And the bullying, I think bullying kind of played a part in my life, where that's where the introverted come in, and I didn't want to be around people. I didn't trust nobody, but I made friends with the wrong people. I always liked being around the troublemakers, and they, especially the gang guys, man. And I was just kind of talking a little bit before in here. A lot of the gang guys that I knew, even though they wanted me to join, I always saw a fellowship with them. There's always some type of family thing with them, but I knew it wasn't for the right reason. When we moved there and I started getting to know people. But I didn't touch any of the drugs and stuff, alcohol or nothing until like 21-ish, 22-ish. I just didn't see it as something I needed to have. Because I was always putting my head in the books at school and worked really hard to get out of the learning disability classes I was in because I had a learning disability. And me reading in front of a bunch of people, I petrified. And if I screwed up, I always thought it was a less than, so I never wanted to read.
Should we make Chuck read tonight?
I'll read. Right now, I'll read. I love reading now. Not a lot of books, but if I read a book, it has to be something I'm interested in completely. It's not where I have to have a must or like just not must, but if I'm bored, I won't read it. I always read magazines. I love reading magazines because I'm a car guy, so young kid reading Carcraft, hot rod magazines, and the bodybuilding books and stuff like that. I always wanted to see pictures and read all the small little stuff. So it kind of helped me a lot, but it's been a work in progress. I'll say that still. So
your drinking went off to the races after your first divorce then?
Yeah, after that night.
Like you literally walked in and it was physically saw her with somebody?
Yes.
Oh.
Right in the act.
In the act.
In the act.
That's brutal.
And I'm not going to put any shade on her because now we talk to each other now. I knew something was going on, but and I said this with Janine. I said, she said that I would never catch her doing anything, and that was like fuel to my fire. Like, okay, if you think I'm not going to catch you, okay, we'll see. So my hyperfixation, because I have a hyper, like when I'm attentive to something, I'm hyper in. I'm like all in, tunnel vision, and I want to know. So I would follow. I would do all the little nuances. I was kind of like playing private detective without being a private detective. So it was like a challenge to me. But I didn't have the trait I wanted to drink then. But when that culmination came to, because I lost my job the week before because of what I was doing. I was taking
because you weren't going to work.
Well, I was going to work, but I was not focused on what I was doing. I could care less what was going on there.
Yeah.
So losing the job and then seeing all that in a couple weeks span, cultivated me saying, just screw it. I didn't know who to talk to. I didn't know who to outreach to. And a lot of it, I think, was my fault that I didn't know how to just give in and say, hey, I'm hurting. What can I do? But instead, I saw Everclear and some other drink and said, let's go. Because I knew what it felt like to get drunk to a degree. So it was a place for me to escape and say, forget about life for how many hours. You know, I heard Dennis Quaid say on Petra McDavid, 3 stages. It was fun. It was fun with problems. Now it's a problem. What am I going to do? That sticks with me because that's how I looked at it for 3 months is it's party time. Let's go. Let's forget about life and collect the unemployment check too. And then go try to make money on the side because being a mechanic, I knew how to make money. I knew how to maneuver around to pay things and live pretty low key. But when it came to drinking with problems, that's where a lot of hell broke loose. Asking parents for money to pay mortgages, car payments, this. You know, my dad being in recovery at that time, I knew he was in it. You know, he's what, 31 years in.
Wow.
I think he knew. I think he knew something was going on, but he didn't say anything yet. And it came down to the point where I had to sell the house so that I can get out from underneath all the debts that I made, because I sold a car that I really loved. I sold all those things off. I shouldn't, and it's not that I lost it. I just gave it away. Can't do anything. So I moved back with mom and dad. I say, hey, can I move back with you guys? And I was just getting, because I was in a relationship with a young woman at the time, and I shouldn't have been. And I can't take that back now. But I've made amends with her over the years on the things that I've had a part to play in, on what type of emotional, mental things that I put on her, because I wasn't a nice guy, really. Everything was about me. I was the most selfish man in the world when I was around that. And I didn't really want to have a full-blown relationship with women anyways after my divorce, because I always thought that after that, then am I really going to have a true relationship again? So I compartmentalized that whole deal with a lot of other things. And alcohol was my way to escape. And then when I first got sober in late 2004, tried getting sober, I wanted people off my back. I wanted her off my back. I wanted her parents off my back, and try to get my shit together. I'll put it that way.
How old were you in the first?
24. 25-ish, around there. I got sober up in Joliet, Illinois. Went to a meeting up there. It was in the hospital. They had it down on the first floor, so they had inpatient treatment. So everybody from inpatient treatment would come down there to the meetings every Tuesday and Thursday. So there'd be like 40 or 50 people in a meeting. Didn't get a sponsor though. I did all the things that I did do all the things that I was suggested to me to do. Get a sponsor, get into the fellowship, get into people, learn to trust somebody that I couldn't trust anybody before. And it lasted 6 months. Had a drink, felt like a complete ass. Because I knew I was doing something wrong, and I didn't tell anybody. I didn't want nobody to know that I drank again, I slipped up, and I still went back to that meeting, but never told anybody. I could not have, I just didn't know how to confide into somebody to let them know, hey, I effed up. I'm going to try again, but I didn't try again. But I didn't drink after that. I went on a dry drunk for quite a while.
Oh, wow.
And I think that was the worst thing.
Yeah.
I'm just kind of curious. How do we break that stigma right there though? Because see, that has been a problem for me too. When I relapsed, and the shame and guilt that comes with that, like just having a drink, right? You had a drink, and now you were ashamed to admit to all of those people in that room that you had a drink. And it sometimes I'm like, is it because we put so much emphasis on the time in the rooms?
I think it's more than that.
It's more than that.
I think it's more like we're so people pleasing people and insecure as it is, and want to be a part of, and don't want to have the judgment of others, because obviously we slipped and fell.
Yeah, it's the starting over thing though that's really like painful that you feel. And I'm just going to tell you guys from my own experience, it's the feeling of having to do that walk of shame and everybody staring at you and admitting it in front of all of these people, I'm a newcomer again, and then you don't feel like you have any solution anymore.
Right.
Like you don't feel like you can sit down and be like, hey, and be able to like really truly speak. So like, how do we stop that? Or is that a good thing that it's like that? Is my second part of it, because it's truly humbling.
For sure. Like nobody gets this. That's the thing, is like the moment you think you got it, you better be like, hold on to your seat, because we never got it. We never arrive. It's a continuous work. But I think there's like, it's multifaceted in my opinion, for like how we always talk about it's humans that ruin a lot of like amazing things. So it's like humans cast the judgment when somebody walks back into a room, where like changing that is verbalizing it like we're doing now and talking about it. Like we need to celebrate the ones that make it back into the room and like lift them up because they feel so low, because they fell. You know, it's like all of us sitting at this table, we've all fallen. Like relapse doesn't have to be a part of your story. However, for us, it's part of ours. So being able to kind of acknowledge it for what it's worth, because we've all learned something from those times that we've slipped and fell, but also encouraging the other ones that if they do fall down, we're right there to lift them back up. That's the whole purpose of community and being a part of the room. So it's like, and let's be honest, everybody that's in that room, we walked in not winning. So like the nerve of anybody to cast judgment on anybody else that has fallen down and needs a little bit of love and compassion to get them back on the course is like absurd to me.
Yeah. Well, I could tell you right now, at the Hopeaholics and at the Recover Out Loud, it doesn't matter if you relapse today and you walk in here and you walk into our meeting or any of our meetings, even if you're loaded, man, we love you no matter what. And there's no shame in that. And there's no judgment from any of us.
We're just happy you're made
We're
it
just
back.
happy that you're alive and that you're here. And you still got you. You still got everything that you had before you relapsed.
Yep.
Like if I could give
the
that
lies that
to
we
people,
tell ourselves.
if I could give that, because man,
Keeps you out.
It kept me out.
Yep.
It kept me out.
Me too.
You know,
How long were you out?
Well, from then, I didn't come back until 2008. So I was hitting meetings here and there, but I would not go to meetings in the towns I lived close to because, again, I don't want my vehicle seen in front of an AA hall because everybody's going to ask me, hey, what were you doing down there? Oh, I don't know. Maybe I was just parked down there. I was just walking around. And I don't know if it's a stigma. I don't know if I felt ashamed. Probably did. But today it's a little different how I think about it.
Sure.
But going to the meetings an hour away from my house was way easier for me to escape and not let anybody know what was going on in my life. Pretty simple. And I had to write some things down today too because I tend to have that CRS. Can't remember shit. So happens. But I would go to meetings off and on, but then I would stay away. And I stayed away because I was using something else to occupy my time to try to stay sober, which was bodybuilding. I got in. I had a really good buddy of mine, and he's still a good buddy of mine, Skip. He saw something in me I didn't see in myself, but he always tried to encourage me to keep coming to the gym, come back, because I was way overweight and looked like a fat slob. I'll just put it that way. You know, out drinking, doing nothing, eating bad. And he got me involved back into the gym because I've always loved bodybuilding. I've always loved the training aspect and being able to have some type of mental some type of something to keep me in line. But the thing is, and I'm not going to put any shade on this. Anybody does this, and I've seen it a lot on Instagram where people are in recovery and they'll step away and they'll just do the working out as their thing.
Sure.
And I don't have no shade against that. I won't. So I used that as my crutch until I came back. You know, I competed and had bad relationships again because I didn't know how to talk to somebody and picked the wrong people. You know, I am who I am and who I hang around with, so I'm going to pick who I'm with because it's easier. It's a lot easier for me to deal with that. So before I got back in the rooms, though, I was getting ready for a show, and I know you've heard me talk about it, and I never talked about it to anybody until I talked to Janine about it. Actually, Violet, who I'm with now, I've talked to her about it and all that because I felt that it was a thing to me to talk about to her about because this is what's going on through my head. Yeah. You know, I was prepping for a show in early 2008, and I was dating a woman. She got pregnant, and I would say probably within the first 8 weeks, she decided to have an abortion. Now, that really screwed me up because I wasn't drinking at the time because every time I prepped, I didn't drink. That screwed me up upstairs in the head bad because that made me question a lot of things about life in general. Was it really my kid? Was it really not my kid? I don't approve of it, but I'm not her. And I felt ashamed of handing her the money to have her go do it because she had money to the point to get half of it done and then asked me, and I'm like looking at her, I'm like, I don't want to do this, but I'm not the one having the kid. And I just gave her the money. And after that, I drowned a lot and reclused a lot to the point where suicide was on the table. Yeah. You know, I wanted to kind of drive off somewhere and just say, forget it, and just check out for the day. And it taunted me for months. But that culmination of when you asked me in the beginning, well, the worst day was that accident. I was out that early that night before with a friend, and after 9 o'clock at night, I couldn't tell you what happened. I was in a blackout from that whole time because I was a chronic blackout guy. I would come to in a car driving and look around like, what's going on? And slam on the brakes. I've done it numerous times. I should have had at least 10 DWIs, easy. But that accident is what culminated for me sitting in this chair. Because I knew if I were to go back and drink again, I wouldn't be sitting in this chair. that makes sense. And I can go back and remember that night like that. I do not forget that. I mean, I have pictures of it from taking pictures of the car because I had a upper palate fracture. Mm-hmm. So my mouth was wired shut for 6 to 8 weeks. So I had to drink through a straw. Mm. So dealing with that and my father being in recovery, being home that morning, he goes, "Have you had enough?" Mm. And I said, "Yeah, I have had enough." "Good. What do we want to do about this now?" And I said, "Well, I need to get back to meetings." Because I was in and out of the rooms before that happened because I had a problem. Drinking was way in there. But I was trying to find the help and trying to find people to talk to, and I didn't know how to. So getting back in the rooms right after that was actually a lifesaver. So, you good?
Trying not to sneeze on you guys.
But it's hard to be vulnerable. It's hard to keep a lot of things that we walk through life.
You feel safer.
It's just, I feel like depending on the person, depending on the situation, and depending on what it is, there's like multiple reasons why we don't want to either burden somebody else with what we're going through.
Yeah, burden. That's it.
Or we're ashamed of whatever it is that we think that is something to carry ourselves. And like, you hear the phrase always like, "I'm taking this shit to the grave." I mean, that's why I called the same sponsor that I did, is because I just didn't want to tell half my shit to somebody brand new. And I love her to death. So that also, and she's fantastic. But but they always say too, like our secrets keep us sick. And I truly, truly believe that because we stuff them down so far and it ends up being poison. And not only to ourselves, but to anybody else that we love. Because then how is somebody going to love us to the fullest potential if we are literally killing ourselves and not even loving ourselves?
Right.
Like you can't pour into somebody.
Well, not only that, but even being honest to yourself. There's no honesty in your life.
And that's part of that's
all
one
part
of the key rules and suggestions to the program is if you're willing and honest, you have a chance.
Yeah.
Because if you can't get honest, you will not be able to stay in.
No chance.
I heard you guys talk about an episode previous about speaking. Speaking is therapy for me. This is a therapeutic time for me to talk because it's not just helping me, it's helping somebody else that's going to listen.
For sure.
Because somebody could have went through the same thing I went through in bits and pieces or the whole thing, and now they have a way out of saying, well, he found his way. How can I'm going to be able to find my way. It's one of those things of keep carrying the message. Mm-hmm. It took me a while to speak it first. My sponsor, Ed, who I miss. He was a great guy. Sorry.
Oh, no, you're good.
We like crying on this podcast. Yeah. Trust me. Mm-hmm.
Did a lot of it the last couple months.
But that right there, it's a release. Like humans are supposed to experience exactly what you're going through right now. And half the stuff that we say that we don't want to say out loud, that's why sponsorship suggests when you're going through that stuff is to raise your hand and say it out loud to a meeting, because there's something from the brain to the mouth when you verbalize it. Not only is it a therapeutic release in some sort of fashion, but also we aren't alone in all the misery. Somebody else feels the same exact way.
Now, he taught me a lot about life. I remember the first meeting I went back to over in Marseilles, Illinois, which is a town over, a lot of old school guys there. And my buddy, you know how we got some nicknames for guys in meetings?
Oh, yeah.
My buddy, Reverend Dan, which he's not a priest or anything, but we call him Reverend Dan because he's a hard-nosed guy, and he will just tell it the way it is. Yeah. And when I first listened to him, I'm looking over at him, and I like him because he's solid. I started hearing things from him. I mean, I don't listen with just my ears; I listen with my eyes too. And it was him, my sponsor Ed, and a few other guys that I got around. And Andy, he's passed away now for quite a while. He was 78 or 79 when I came in. he was a very happy old man.
Yeah.
Very happy-go-lucky guy, and I wasn't a happy guy walking in. I was teed off at the world and didn't want to. Thank you. I didn't want to, hear about a lot of things and going on, but I knew I was going to have to hear things. And I always sat next to him because of his vibe, his energy. Because I knew if I came in there feeling like crap, I sat next to him, I'm going to be fine. He's like, he always say, "Oh, come over here, young man. Come over here. Sit with me, right next to me." I like all these young people coming back in and coming in here. And he's like, "How you doing?" I look over, I'm like, first off, I was really like stepping back, like, how is this guy so happy? But it took me a minute and the light bulb went off upstairs. And unfortunately, he passed away, but I learned a lot from him about happiness. My sponsor told me a lot. He showed me a lot of wisdom, along with a few other men. Being able to be compassionate and be able to trust somebody again, and being able to be an upstanding citizen and a great person. But Ed, when we first got to meet each other and hang out, he knew my dad, but none of them knew that I was his kid. That just later came on as I'm going around the meetings. So he told me his story one night in the truck. I look over at him. I'm like, this guy's telling me his whole life story. So he gets done. He's like, he told me things that he wouldn't tell anybody else. And he's like, you're probably pretty mad at me because of the things I told you. I'm like, no, people do things in life, and here we are. So I knew right then and there that was a partnership. And he was like a dad to me as well, in a sense, because growing up without a dad that was working all the time, I didn't have. My brother was the guy I always talked to a lot about things, and I'm close with him. I'm close with a lot of my siblings. 2 of my siblings out of the 4. Besides my older sister, I don't talk to her as much. That's a relationship I'm working on still with because of things going on there. But he passed away during COVID, and he showed me how to, even because we went to car shows a lot, even though I didn't have anything at the time, I'd always go to the car show with him, meet with him, talk with him, go hang out with him. We meet up every week at the meetings, bullshit every week at the meetings. That's what we're supposed to do. And that's what I do with my sponsee too. Me and him talk every day. We send funny stuff back and forth. And he's taught me a lot of things too, and I probably taught him some things too. I don't know if I'm the best teacher in the world, but I'm giving off some type of message to him that he was attracted to. But he unfortunately passed away during COVID, which I feel COVID really screwed up a lot of people in the recovery world, my opinion. I mean, people don't have to agree with me, but I haven't seen a lot of people come back. I have seen the true colors in people during that time. Which I would have never thought, but it is what it is. And I always thought that people were loving and caring, and I've seen a lot of people do the exact opposite. So
that's what happens when the media puts out propaganda, my friend.
Well,
divides people.
I know.
We're not supposed to be divided in the rooms of Alcoholics Anonymous.
No. Not supposed to, but I've seen it, unfortunately. But since he's passed away, I've actually mentored with a couple other guys that I can trust. My buddy Big Bob, you guys heard me talk about quite a bit. He's kind of a Neanderthal guy, he always says, but he says stuff straightforward, and that's the kind of people I want to be around. Boots on the ground, rubber to the road, just all that kind of. He's a guy I could call today if I got something going on, and he has his weird ways of giving me advice, but I take it. So I've done a lot of stuff in the program as far as that too, being a GSR and DCM and CPC, cooperation with professional community, which anonymity we talked about yesterday a little bit. I've had to give it up a little bit doing that, going to doctors and giving pamphlets and calling people. I don't mind doing that because that to me is letting them know that there's another way out for people to come. I've talked with professionals that come to our meetings, because it's a closed meeting, so we'd have to make a vote. Hey, can we have this person sit in here? And I'm like, guys, they're from the professional community. They sit here because they're going to learn something from us. I've actually had a couple of them ask for a big book because they were that interested of wanting to know what's going on. So it's been a wild ride. You know, my recovery date's 8/2 of 2008. About 16 and a half years. Yeah. So it's been a wild ride, man. I'm a pretty private guy, but when I first saw this program on the podcast, at least on Instagram, it came to you two guys at first, but before you joined. Before, you know, when the heroin was really bad, opioids and all that was really bad, there was a lot of groups coming out, everybody's trying to do something. I was kind of dismissed of it, not in a negative way, but I was like, how can I help that other side? Just because I'm an alcoholic doesn't mean that, you know, I'm not going to be able to help, but how am I going to help somebody that does heroin or crack or cocaine? Or because I don't know what it feels like to be on that stuff. I really don't.
But you know the obsession of the mind and then the physical allergy.
But I have the physical allergy of alcohol because I resorted to it. Now, is that a yet that I could go to that other stuff? Yeah.
Right.
Honest. I mean, full.
Oh, yeah.
It could happen.
If you and I would have been out partying one day and you were in a blackout drunk,
yeah,
I might have shot you up with some methamphetamine and changed your life.
Exactly. So those are things that I think about in this head because I always think about other things that could happen.
Yeah.
The unexpected. So when I saw this podcast, I'm like, something's gonna. This looks like something that's gonna stick. And that's what I was looking for, is something that's going to stick. And the amount of gratitude, I don't know how I could show it to everybody here. I don't know how. But I could tell you all that. That's why I wrote stuff down yesterday, because I tend to forget because of the accident, because I had a bad concussion, real bad. It took me a good year to really come to grips with a lot of things because I had a lot of short-term memory loss. Thankfully, you know, we talked about the power greater than ourselves. I didn't believe in a God. Is there a Jesus? Is there anything? There probably is. I mean, I'm gonna say it right out. I always had my back turned on religion because of what happened to me in the church system. I had a priest, which he was going through issues too, but we're doing communion because we first moved to Illinois. Communion's at 8th grade, and we had to write a paper. So I wrote a paper. He read it and he threw it down the paper. Down the table, he goes, "What the hell is this?" Looking at him like, "What is what? This is what you wanted, right?" And he goes, "I don't want this effing thing." And then he was very belligerent and.
Was he drinking?
He was an alcoholic. Well, I'm not going to make excuses, but I do know when my father walked in the room and I don't know what he ever did when things happen like that in the rooms with closed doors. But every time he walked into a room to take care of something, he walked back out, everything's cool. So I don't know what happens in there. He's never told me to that day. I've never asked. But we did go through communion. But after that, I'd never stepped back in a church. Have I showed up into a type of churches? Yes, I have. Because I opened that door when I came back in the program after a while. Because there were things happening in my life that something greater than me was giving me this path to go on and being able to help me out. I still see it today, things going on that I have to question, like, am I really sitting in this chair today? Am I really in California today? Am I really doing this today? You know, I have to question that, but not in a negative manner like I used to. But I have an acceptance of people in religion. My sister is actually, my twin, she's actually very religious.
You have a twin?
Wow.
Yes.
There we go. There's something new. He has a twin.
Wow, good for you, man. I always wanted a twin. I had twins. I had friends growing up. The brothers had twins, Miles and Kevin.
Were they identical?
Identical.
Oh, man, you know they did some shady shit.
I would have.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
I played soccer.
Could you imagine if you and David were twins?
We already did shady shit. We didn't need to be twins.
We done some shady stuff too as we were little kids. We lived in Canada, Nova Scotia area.
Yeah, oh yeah.
New Brunswick.
Yeah.
Sorry. We got lost one day to the mountain. There's a mountaineer, they call him. The cops, they had a certain name for him.
The
Royal Mounted Police?
No.
Yes.
Oh, those ones?
Yeah.
What's the other name though?
RCMP. Royal Canadian Mounted Police. RCMP.
They had to come look for us because we were lost. We decided to walk off my mom. We'd done some we were never in classes together until high school. So they always thought that we were going to compete against each other. We never competed against each other. We were always having fun in the back of the classroom.
Mm-hmm.
So we did the exact opposite of what they thought that we were going to do. But she's very religious. She talks to me about religion a lot. And I always ask her questions. So that's where I keep learning. Whatever religion it is, I want to learn something about it. That's why I keep the door open for it, because it's going to help me in some way of the long run. There's always a message to it. That's why I always say don't shoot the messenger. Mm-hmm. Somebody's going to say something to me that's going to work. But, I mean, as far as right now with my life going right now, I can't complain. Cannot complain. Some kept telling me to come out here for the last couple months. I don't know what it is.
It was us on the podcast. Mm-hmm. We kept saying, "Come out."
You.
Not just that, but I was actually going to come out about November, December. I was going to come out. And I'm like, no. Someone's like, nah, just wait. So I don't know if it was the culmination of the 2-year anniversary or, you know, how this started. You know, unfortunately with Justin. Mm-hmm. You know, I know it's a pretty big thing. But he's still here in spirit. He's here with us today. Mm-hmm. He I'm grateful for everybody that's come on this podcast before me that have taught me something. You know, Justin's arranged that. Mm-hmm. Let me put it that way. That's why I was kind of writing down last night when I was sitting here thinking, because I had a lot of alone time. Mm-hmm. So I like to write things down. I can thank my creative write-up teacher for that. He's also in recovery, I found out.
Oh, nice.
Didn't know it.
Pen to paper does wonders.
I'm telling you. My dad says it all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And I wrote that down last night because he's doing stuff for us that we're not doing for ourselves, if that makes sense.
For sure. I wrote it this morning in my caption.
You know, I feel that that's that way that, you know, maybe he directed my vision over here.
Same.
And others, you know. It's an interesting culmination, I'll put it. You know, I was reading out of page 89 yesterday, too, out of the Attitude Adjustment book, because I won't say the other word because I might have the AA police on me.
Yeah, right.
But do I have it here? No, I forgot it. It talks about a vision for you, page 89. And, you know, I might can look it up real quick. So I read out of the big book about every day now.
Mm-hmm. 89 is part of our marching orders.
Yep.
I'm going to be honest with you, man. Justin's death created a movement.
Yeah.
And that's what this is. It's a spiritual movement.
Yeah. And it's like, and it's not, and it's kind of crazy because, like, you know, this movement has gone far beyond just the Hopeaholics. You know, it's spawned other people to do their own thing, which is, you know, the more good that can be created out of this, you know, the better. You know, I look at that wall behind you.
Right.
And,
yeah.
bro, I look at that wall and I'm like, holy fuck, have we done all this?
I mean,
dude?
you still got the other wall over there.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of signatures on that wall too. I've kind of stopped people from signing that wall recently because there's still so many little gaps in there, and I love this wall because this wall is seen all the time, in, you know, and photographs and whatever. And it's like a big deal, man. And it's like, that isn't even everybody. When did we get the wall, Shane?
You're asking me with the memory? Fuck, bro.
50 people
50,
already
I think.
done?
40, 50 in.
40 in?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
So there's like 40 people that haven't signed the wall. And we don't let, like, the people that do the Recover Out Loud on Tuesday night, they don't get to sign the wall.
No.
You have to do this that you're doing right now to sign that wall.
Yeah.
So the Tuesday night, some of them, we bring them back. Like, you know, when somebody like is really good,
off the hook.
I'm like, bro, Shane. There's still a few people that I want back on though.
We got a few. I'm gonna text them.
That girl the other day.
Yeah, she was good. And then the guy the week before.
Well, the guy last
last one you guys had, he was
good.
somebody on the chat said it was top 5.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't want to say that that's debatable, but top 5.
Well, it depends on who it is. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Everyone's gonna listen. Their ear is different than you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not going to lie. At first, I was kind of tuned out, but then I started seeing the messages, and I said, "Nah, let's listen a little better."
That's just you though, dude. That ain't like we could have like fucking
Anybody here?
Yeah, I
that's
mean,
true.
Well, that's why it's
Mike
important
Fiore
for people to
could-
find a meeting
Mike
too.
Fiore could be on here. See, people love Mike Fiore because he's so what do you call it?
Energetic.
Yes,
Yeah,
he's an energetic speaker.
he is.
But I wouldn't even put Mike Fiore's. He would be in the top 5, but not top 2. We've had some good.
I like Danny.
Danny Lansdale's my number 1, bro.
He's solid. Solid guy.
Yeah.
We had Danny speak at the Recover Out Loud
Oh my
here.
God.
Oh yeah, he was great.
His hands are probably
And
just
then-
going everywhere.
Yeah.
And but the funny part is, man, is the next month I'm like, Danny, we're doing an all women's thing. I need the female version of you, and that was when Abby came,
Yes.
bro.
Murray.
I need her to speak and do a whole Recover Out Loud meeting by herself because
I agree.
It is
we
fitting.
we have the female Danny
Yeah.
Lansdale.
Yeah, she was
Abby,
good.
Abby?
No,
No,
Or no?
Murray.
Murray, hip
Hooray.
hip
Hooray.
hip hip,
Yeah.
Murray.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Murray spoke before Abby.
Okay.
Oh my God, she's fucking hilarious. She's a straight fucking tweaked out tweaker,
Yeah.
That's okay.
Firecracker.
firecracker with Danny Lansdale recovery.
I listen to him every morning.
Oh, nice.
He does the little shorts
Okay.
for the sober spot.
Yeah.
And I'll scroll through real quick because I don't usually touch my phone for like 15, 20 minutes when I get up.
That's
Nice.
I like to, because I have books that I'll read. I'd rather walk over to it, physically go do something,
It's good.
and then I'll look at the phone if I have to.
good. Lansdale's actually my mentor for my own public speaking. He's who I call. Like if I fucked up on one of my public speakings, I was like next day I'm like on the phone with Danny telling him all about it. He's like, bro, I've done that numerous times. Made me feel better. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like
Everybody has a mess up.
you only get one though. You only get one.
Yeah.
Like
But if you make it minuscule and just keep going, you're fine.
oh man, I wanted to run off the stage for the first 5 minutes because I couldn't fucking think. God humbled the fuck out of me. And the problem is like Shane is no good when you're fucking up. And I look over at Natalie too, and she just looked petrified. Like she
No, I wasn't. I was with it, and then I didn't know what to do because I wanted to like save him because I could
that's
feel
the
it.
thing is,
and
and
so I didn't know.
I could
me and
see
you
that
both
she
did.
wanted to save me.
We didn't know what to do.
Shane though.
I think I left.
No, you didn't.
Shane,
we were
Shane
literally
dances. Shane can't when somebody is when he's uncomfortable. He can't like he doesn't
I've
know.
seen that.
Woo!
That's okay.
One time I was sweating and Shane made it worse. Oh man.
You know,
I'm glad I'm over some of that shit. I just don't give a fuck anymore.
I've never really done a full blown like a public. I mean, I've done little meetings, like 30 people.
I don't even think about like tonight. The only thing I'm thinking about is that I don't want anybody else to touch my microphone because otherwise I'm gonna spread this thing like fucking wildfire through the facility, and I don't want people to hug me tonight. So I don't know. I'm gonna have to make an announcement.
6 foot. 6 foot.
6 foot rule on me, dude. Tonight, stay the fuck away. Cause
Use the floaty little things as a distance marker.
what's funny is like I keep telling people to stay away from me, and then the doctor guy he sits right next to me, and I'm like, dude,
Did you not hear me?
Probably not.
I'm really not that sick.
Wait, did
though,
you
so,
find
like,
it?
If all of y'all,
You were gonna read it.
I can read it.
Okay.
I'm just letting you guys talk a little
Yeah.
bit.
No.
she's over it. She's done with me. We're back on you, Chuck.
Oh, you guys are nuts.
Chuck, don't give
You can say it.
I got to sometimes I just got to reel him back in.
Like fishing.
Exactly. It's
They
like
do.
squirrel.
That's what they do.
Could you imagine if we didn't have Natalie? I mean, our podcasts were terrible when we were off on tangents all the time, right, Shane?
Oh yeah,
You still go off on tangents.
we're still on one. Go ahead, Chuck.
Well, it's out of page 89 if you guys remember. It's, life. This is what I thought last night. I'm like, how could I describe what's going on this weekend? Life will take on a new meaning, to watch people recover, to see them help others, to watch loneliness vanish, to see a fellowship grow up about you, and to have a host of friends. Okay? This is an experience you must not miss, and we know you will not want to miss it. And frequent contact with newcomers and with each other is a bright spot of our lives. That's what I thought about last night for this whole deal, is that I'm around people I'm friends with, got to know people. Now I'm physically here. So, and I'm the kind of guy, when I say I'm going to do something, I'm going to do it.
Yeah.
And if somebody needs some help or gives me a call, I'm usually the guy that'll go help them. I have had no problem with that usually. Even though they don't help me back right away, it'll happen. Something will happen. But that's just kind of where I thought about things. It's a vision of a mission, I guess.
You've I think that you coming out here is going to inspire some of our other Tuesday night people to show up, and
I hope,
because like I want to get you guys all, like, some of the regulars. Joe B,
I messaged him the other day. He hasn't messaged me back yet. So
Kristen,
He hasn't?
no.
What's her name? Coach Kristen.
Yeah,
That's
she
what I
texted
call
me.
her.
She was going to come up for this Friday, but
She sent something in to Recover Out Loud though this morning. I don't think she's going to be here. It'd be dope if she just like showed up.
I was trying to get Julian,
Julian, he got to come out,
and Joel. I was trying to get those three to
Yeah.
come with me to get all of it together.
Yeah.
Because Julian, man, he's a public speaker as it is.
Yeah.
Totally.
So for him to do this, he's cake.
Yeah.
But his story will resonate with a lot of people.
Definitely.
Everybody has a story that's sitting around here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just share it. Be an open book. That's my old buddy Jim used to say.
You never know whose life you're going to change, man, and everybody's going to touch a different person. Not the way Shane touched him on the on the Patreon, but
No bueno.
no bueno.
huh?
No bueno.
You're okay.
I don't know. Maybe it was bueno. Who knows?
I thought it was all right.
It was the early,
Early 80s.
not 80s. It was the early 2000s, like mid 2000s.
Yeah, we're not putting it in the Patreon. It's been kiboshed. It's already been erased. It's already been erased.
Why? Who was going to get upset? Penny was who I was thinking.
Yeah,
about.
someone would have been upset. I erased it.
That's good.
Never to be spoken of again.
I feel you, bro.
I'll remember it, but that's all right.
Yeah.
I was like,
that was the old
this-
chain.
Burn in
That was the
my
old
brain.
chain.
this morning when I was thinking of it, I was like, my mom's gonna be like irritated that
was the
in
old
there.
chain. Yeah, no.
Good.
And when I think about it now, I think, yeah, you're right. It was kind of dirty.
Yeah, but you're dirty.
I am,
Yeah.
but it was still not a pro. But whatever. It is what it is.
Did anybody complain?
No, that's the thing. It just went further.
Yeah, which is like, that's why it's not like
Like it just went further. Like from there, it was
Yeah, nobody was hurt by this.
no.
Like everything was fine.
Right.
It might have been hurt.
But then it's me being like aggressive.
Yeah, but that's also
You know what I
putting you
mean?
today into what you didn't have ill intentions.
No.
You wanted to like bang everybody that you
That's
dropped
it.
your sack
That's
on.
it. That's
pretty much it.
That's I just want to bang everybody.
Yeah.
That was
It's
my goal.
like it wasn't this like weird malicious thing.
No,
So that's
not at all.
stop putting that in your head.
All
You
right.
weren't.
Yeah. You're right.
Shane the male gigolo.
Yeah,
Yeah.
bro. For free. I wouldn't charge. As a matter of fact, I would pay them.
So you're John.
I was a John. Well, that's just, I don't know. Because like I said, I would give them a bike. You know what I'm saying?
That's payment, bro.
Does that make me I was the John.
Yeah.
Oh, you're right. Okay, you turned it around on me. Yes.
Yeah, you're not.
No, I was paying.
You're not a hooker.
You're right. I wasn't.
You're a John.
Damn, they all took advantage of me.
Yeah, they did. They did, bro.
They really did.
And you know what? You weren't paying them for sex. You were paying them just for their time
Yeah.
to hang out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. I
You're
feel
totally
better.
wrong.
I feel better.
See, yeah.
I feel. Thank you. I feel better. Damn.
My pleasure. I can always walk in. I can rationalize. And justify.
Yeah, that's
any fucking behavior.
Bro.
That's what my addiction does.
Thank you. God,
Yeah.
it's beautiful.
Not right.
I'm not saying it's right.
Just not right, man.
Way better.
I've heard stories like that before, but that's okay.
Yeah.
I mean, I have to tell you guys though, rehab in the
Newport Beach area?
in the 2000s to 2015
It was wild.
in Newport Beach area, or even out here in this area, it was a lot of co-ed housing.
Yeah.
It was not a lot of eyes watching you. Stuff was more like PHP IOP when it was actually should have been RTC.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
So, I mean, look, the treatment center that he went through, it was a good treatment center. I won't deny it. For that time of the year, time in our lives, it was one of the top.
Yeah, it was.
And
It was top 10 in the States.
country.
Yeah, in the country.
And their platform or whatever was, I think you do detox, and then you moved into the other house, and you went and did your treatment at the center.
Yeah.
And to get to the center, they had bikes.
Yeah.
You could bring your own, or you could ride one of theirs.
Yeah.
But they didn't have vans that got you.
No,
and,
they did
and this
not.
was on Newport Beach
Boulevard.
Peninsula.
Yeah, the boulevards, bro. It was
Yeah.
crazy.
Like-
everything was nuts.
Yeah.
And for someone from Canada,
Oh yeah.
just coming out here, $5,000 in my sock,
Yeah.
just wanted to have fun. That was my whole goal coming out here.
Were you staying sober during that?
No, hell no. Just having fun.
You weren't staying sober while you were in the rehab?
Very little.
What were you doing?
You know what I
Drinking,
mean?
or?
No, I was pill, a little bit of black tar, pills, black tar, a little bit of crack, everything.
While you're in, like, literally.
Yeah.
And drug testing wasn't a big thing.
It was
in those
not a big
rehabs
thing. No,
at that time.
no. It's like, here's a cup, go to the bathroom. I'm
Yeah.
like, all right, I'll go spit in this. Yeah.
The trick. I'm not going to tell the trick.
Find somebody else do it for you.
No.
No one really cared back then. It was crazy.
If it's the ones, I'm going to tell it. But because we watch people pee here.
Yeah.
But if you have the instant cups, you just dip it in the toilet, let the water run up,
Yeah, then
dump the
pee.
water out, and then pee in it.
Yeah.
Even if your pee's dirty, you've already ran the water up it, and it'll
Yeah.
come back completely clean.
Yeah.
Right, because you're diluting it.
Still get the right temperature and everything.
Yeah, and then you hand it to them. It's got the right temperature.
Yeah.
They think you
it's
peed.
warm. Yeah.
Right. I've had to go take. Well, one job I was at, they would random drug test you, so I would go, and I had to go back 3 times because they said it was too diluted because I was drinking too much water and Gatorade.
That's crazy.
And I'm like, okay, I know I'm not on anything, but I just like whatever. I'll just pee in it again. But
Don't do that, kids.
no,
What's your
no,
advisory
highly
warning?
unrecommended.
Yeah.
Just stay sober, do the deal. Life's better.
Trust God, help others, clean house. The one thing that my buddy Bob taught me too was, even though that someone got me comfortable with hugging, I did not like hugging. Keep away. It's kind of how I was. Violet taught me how to do that. So she would give me hugs all the time. Because we didn't really start dating each other until like almost a year. And we hung out a lot in the beginning. Because we'd always go play video games or go do something just to hang out with each other. Because she taught me actually how to have a relationship, to be honest with you. Because I don't know what a genuine relationship was with another person at all. And I have to give her flowers for that one. A lot of flowers for a lot of other things she's taught me. I don't know how she's so patient sometimes, but
She loves you.
she does. She always like, you're smarter than that. You're smarter than that. Just think about it. She does positively reinforce what's between these ears. And when we talk about that man in the mirror, I'm pretty confident in that man in the mirror, this morning. And I'm not swearing at it today, like, oh my God, I got to do this again. I got to do this again. Why did you do that? And it's not like that today, but the hugging part, my buddy Bob says, give me a hug. And I said, okay. I'll give you half of what's going on with me. You give me half of what's going on with you. So wherever you go, I go. Wherever he goes, vice versa. So one of those little key things I've learned all these years so far. It's like I said, it's been a wild ride. I'm still learning. I've always said that when I graduate is when I'm perished. I'll put it that way.
Me too. I thought I
There's
graduated
no graduation.
early on. Yeah, I know. I already know that doesn't exist because I thought I graduated. Found out.
I did.
Nope.
I did. I did. I graduated. Never to return to the rooms. Alcoholics Anonymous.
It's funny that you brought the hugs up though, because that's what I do with everybody that comes into the NEM house.
Yeah.
That's like when the first time they see me, obviously everybody gets hugs, right? But now it's like it's a known thing that's what happens. And so it's crazy just to see the difference in what hugging an individual does. It's amazing. You okay there, bud?
Oh,
God.
Lord. Just
Oh God.
just let it hang in there. There you go. That's what you need.
It's the end. Nobody watches to the end.
No one does. No one does.
Nobody watches to the end. What
mean,
if I
Shane-
pull it out and there's
Shane gave me a
on it?
big hug when I walked in here.
Oh,
I give you a hug.
You did too. So I mean,
You
he gave me a
can't-
big
you
old hug.
can't-
I was trying to make sure he wasn't going to grab my rear end. So.
You can't,
You never
Shane.
know.
You cannot
Yeah.
say anything. You go like this all day long.
Oh God.
And we have
Even
to
while
deal
you're
with
eating, which I think is even weirder.
Snot rocket or what?
Who knows?
No.
Like he just
He
basically
sucks-
swallows his
sucks-
boogers.
Sucks them into his throat. Extra flavor for you like
Ew.
the
Extra salt.
I have no idea what you guys are talking about.
lies.
No, I'm just-
Everybody has heard you do it.
Totally.
On this podcast.
Nothing
everywhere.
goes in. It's just the noise. I don't.
Show us how. No, that's not
No,
how you
that's
do it.
totally
you do
not.
that. You pull it apart.
Ew. Okay.
Anyway.
Thanks,
Damn
John.
it.
Life's good, Chuck.
Yeah.
We appreciate
love you,
you
Chuck.
coming.
I
Yeah,
love all
we
my.
really
I love.
appreciate you coming, bro.
I love all my DMs and messages that
Yeah.
you send. All the little inspo ones to all the things.
Well,
I appreciate it.
You've been going through a lot from what my understanding is, and I don't ask anybody about their business. I'll put it that way. I grew up that way. People want to share something with me, they'll share it with me. So I get to a degree what you're going through, but I also am very proud of what, I don't want to say proud.
You can say proud. Just because Shane doesn't like the proud thing, fuck that.
Well, I think there could be a better word than that. Because I always look for a better word than something. And maybe that's a perfectionist in me sometimes, because I always like to have something perfect, and I got to be careful with that. Like, it can't be that perfect. What's going from with the NEM house? It's wicked awesome. I'll put it that way.
Thank
To
you.
see what you're doing, because it's just another tool that's getting used, and somebody. It's all these things coming to fruition. That's how I think about things. All the things that led up to what's going on to fruition, and I can't thank you guys enough, especially having me out here. This is it's a blessing in disguise. I'll put it that way.
I mean, this is what it's all about.
Yeah.
Going back to what you said, and that's why Justin will forever, continuously live on, and his presence will always be with us because of a tragic event that Chad's family had to walk through. This wouldn't exist.
Mm-hmm.
When you really dial even a wider scope, it's even more heavy because even for myself, it's like, if that did not happen, would I be living the way that I'm living right now?
Don't know.
Exactly. And where I truly feel like this is what I was made to do. No question about it. This is my purpose in life. This is what God set me up for, by even starting to wrestle. And I never wrestled a day in my life. And my first day on the job was WrestleMania.
Mm-hmm.
To then share on a reality show my sobriety journey on season 1, it makes sense now, because it was just setting me up for exactly this moment, walking in those doors with this team to be exactly where I'm at.
Mm-hmm.
And that's because of a tragedy, which is wild to really kind of have it all kind of come together like that. So
Life is good.
mm-hmm.
I say it a lot,
Beautiful.
even when it's a shit sandwich. Just bite the outer edges. Thank
we
you.
love you, Chuck.
Yeah, we love you, Chuck. Thanks, bro.